90s gamers of Reddit, what was a problem about it back then that modern gamers won't understand? No save option. Gotta beat the game in one shot or leave the console on all night. I had a friend who left Sonic 2 on for 2 weeks as he went on holiday. It was fine. Honestly, the impressive part is that they left it running for 2 weeks and came back without the game having done something weird. So many games throw a hissy fit if left running for an extremely long time. Getting stuck on a game and having no way of knowing what you're meant to do for hours. Unless you bought the walkthrough guidebook. Installing a game on PC from 26 floppy disks and having disk 23 of 26 be corrupt and unreadable. I spit and rubbed the scratch on disk 4 of my friend's Space Quest 3 disks. I must have hit retry over 200 times when it asked me if I wanted to abort, retry, fail. Probably sat there for 15 minutes trying to get it to work, and then it did, and the game was playable. That was a good day. Needing to keep the manual for copyright protection. On page 53, what is the fourth word on the page? Writing down a 72-character password to save your progress, and the developer uses a fancy font so some numbers and letters look alike. This is the only way to save your game, and if you get it wrong, sorry about your luck. I remember renting this really shitty football game on the NES when I was about 8 or 9 years old. In the tournament mode, after every win, it gave you a 20-character password. I noticed after writing them down like 5 to 6 times that there was a pattern. Something simple like the numbers went up by 2, like from 2 to 4, and the letters went down by like 2 spots alphabetically, like from D to B. After some deciphering, I tried entering my new hacked code and it worked. I figured out how to instantly jump to the finals. I felt like a fucking genius that day. Ha ha ha. 4-player split screen on a 20-inch CRT TV. I remember when we got a link cable so that we could bring our PS1 over to our friend's house to play Command & Conquer on their 2 TVs, using both our PlayStations, and it was the coolest thing ever. You sat wherever the cord on the controller would let you play from. My couch was too far away, so I played on the floor a lot as a kid. Dad, why don't you move to the couch? Me, the controller wire doesn't reach. Dad, sure it does, look, you just need to move the console further back too. Me, wait, Dad, don't touch the con. Game crashes because console was lightly touched. Dad, huh, oh well, just restart it. Me, crying, but I didn't have time to save. Asking your parents to use the dial-up internet so you can download a shareware demo of a game. It says it should only take a half hour? No, I'm expecting so-and-so to call. Okay, or someone picking up the phone and nuking the connection and download. Spending 6 months stuck at the same spot in the game because there is no walkthrough to tell you what to do. Yes, the Lion King game and the monkeys in the tree level. When gameplay speed was based on CPU speed, a fast computer might be too fast to play a game. We had a turbo button on our Gateway 486 that let you swap to a lower CPU speed to make certain DOS games playable. One of the King's Quest games has this, there's a puzzle where you're supposed to figure out what to do with a lit stick of dynamite before it blows up and kills you. Except that the timer is based on your CPU speed, and even though the game is available on Steam today, it was never patched to fix this issue for much faster modern computers. So basically, the dynamite blows up and kills you literally in the same second your character picks it up. I played through it again a few years ago and had to download a CPU limiter to get past that puzzle. Channel 3. Oh man, that Pavlovian chemical rush when the screen went from the black and white static with the sound. Then you moved the on-off slider on the SNES to the on position as it made that loud click and the screen turned black, quickly followed by that simple chime noise with the words Nintendo Presents on the screen. Trying to get the drivers to work on your 3.11 Win95 setup before automatic driver detection and download was a thing. Buying a shitty game because the box art looked good. Haha, or not buying an awesome game because the box art was hot garbage. That's right, Mega Man. Needing a controller pack in order to save a game. For a while, I didn't have one and just had to start a new game every time I turned the Nintendo 64 on. Getting my PS1 chipped and having a big list of games that my mom would have me pick through so she could buy them off the dodgy guy. Thinking about it now, though. People dealing with chipping PS1 and games were probably nerds, but I thought it was dodgy as fuck when I was young. I think those dramatic piracy is a big bad crime ads got to us because I remember thinking the same. The guy my friend's dad knows who chips PlayStations sounded like a mobster or something, but it was likely just someone like me now, not exactly a hardened criminal. Not really a problem, but nowadays we don't get little booklets in the inside of the disc case that went over the controls, the backstory to the plot, the enemies and vehicles, and so on. Yay, I miss that too. It was fun when games came with an actual manual that also had game lore and character lore in it, as well as the controls. And if it was a fighting game, it had some combos in there too. In the era of PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, not having a memory card sucked. Even if you did have one, they had a finite amount of space, so when you needed to make a new save, you'd have to delete something if you didn't want to buy another memory card. To add to this, games where there was no memory card manager when you came to make a save. So even if you would have happily deleted that old save of another game to make room for your new game, you couldn't. And so all your progress was lost needlessly. Split-screen cheating was a constant complaint when I was still living at home. Once I got to college was about the time Halo CE came out, and we just expected that if you couldn't follow 4 screens at once, tough shit. Sometimes you have to blow into a cartridge to make it work. Lag shooting on a 56K modem. Games like MechWarrior had awful netcode that didn't account for latency. I just shake my head when people today claim 80 milliseconds is unplayable. Y'all have no idea. I remember playing the original Legend of Zelda. That game is hard as fuck. I've played other NES games through emulators and Switch Online eShop. Sega games, hard as fuck. Nintendo, hard as fuck. Hell, growing up and playing PS2 and Xbox games were difficult. These days, if you get frustrated enough, by the time you start searching for a walkthrough, not only has someone already complete most of what you're playing, but also posted and wrote a detailed walkthrough. Old school games are hard. Some didn't have maps, saves, difficulty levels, or lives. Your parents bought you a console and games but didn't know you needed a memory card, so you just played the beginning of every game for a month. That your knockoff copy of Crash Bandicoot you bought for £1 off the market won't work in your chipped PlayStation, or that there isn't enough space on the living room floor to spread the star map out for Frontier Elite 2, having to smash a game in one full weekend as it had to go back to Blockbuster on Sunday night. Losing the ripped-out cheat code page from the PlayStation magazine, saving and writing down save codes to resume your game progress, getting a Game Genie for chests and having the cheat code manuals. Playing some Japanese RPG game with no English translation and no walkthrough at all, still managed to clear it after a few months. Many gamers like the retro-style game nowadays. In our time, we didn't have a choice. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.